The storm arrived without warning, rising from the open sea like a living wall of wind and water. The sky darkened until the line between ocean and clouds disappeared. The giant yacht rocked as waves climbed higher. Crew members moved fast across the deck with tense faces. Ropes snapped tight, metal groaned. Fear spread quietly through every corner of the vessel. This yacht was built for comfort and power, but in this moment it felt small. The sea showed no respect for wealth or size, and everyone aboard could feel that something was going wrong. Inside the control room, the noise of alarms mixed with shouting voices. Screens flashed warnings as the yacht drifted slightly off its planned path. The captain tried to stay calm, but his hands tightened on the controls. The wind pushed hard from the side, fighting every correction. Crew members exchanged worried looks. They followed orders, but nothing seemed to help. The yacht resisted the storm instead of settling into it, and that resistance made every movement rougher. The air felt heavy with pressure and unspoken fear. Among the adults stood a quiet girl named Lena. She was young and small, dressed simply, invited aboard only as a guest. Most people barely noticed her presence. She stood near the back watching silently. Her eyes were not fixed on the sea outside. They were fixed on numbers and movement on the screens. Patterns formed in her mind as the yacht rocked again. She noticed shifts in wind speed and water force. Her breathing stayed steady while others panicked. Her mind moved faster than the storm itself. Another violent wave struck, sending a sharp tilt through the yacht. A crew member lost balance and grabbed a rail. The captain shouted new commands. Engines strained louder, but Lena could see the mistake clearly now. The yacht was pushing against the storm instead of flowing with it. The harder they fought, the more control they lost. She stepped forward slowly, her voice calm but firm. She tried to explain what she saw, but fear made the room deaf. No one wanted to listen to a child during a crisis. The storm grew louder. Thunder rolled above like warning drums. Water slammed against the windows. Lena did not step back. She raised her voice again, explaining that the angle of the yacht needed to change, that the engine should ease instead of force. Her words cut through the noise. Something in her tone made the captain pause. He looked at her, really looked, and saw no fear in her eyes, only focus and certainty. The room fell quiet for a brief moment. Trust was risky, but doing nothing was worse. The captain gave a sharp nod. Crew members followed Lena's guidance, turning controls slowly, adjusting direction, easing power. The yacht shifted its position. Instead of crashing head first into the waves, it began to slide along them. The motion changed from violent to controlled. Alarms softened, screens stabilized. The storm was still strong, but the yacht was no longer losing itself to chaos. As minutes passed, the crew stared in disbelief. The yacht held steady, waves still struck but no longer ruled. Lena stepped back quietly as if nothing special had happened. Her hands relaxed at her sides. The captain exhaled slowly, realization settling over him. This young girl had seen what experienced sailors missed. The storm had not been beaten, but it had been understood, and that understanding had saved them. Outside, the storm continued its roar, but inside something had shifted forever. The crew now looked at Lena with new eyes. Questions filled the air though none were spoken yet. The sea had tested them and revealed something unexpected. Not strength, not money, but calm intelligence in the smallest voice aboard, and this was only the beginning. The yacht continued moving through the storm with a strange balance. Waves still rose high but no longer slammed with blind force. The crew worked quietly now, their fear replaced by sharp focus. Lena stayed near the control room wall watching every change. She noticed how the sea responded to the new angle, how the wind pressed but failed to push them off path. The captain kept glancing toward her, not with doubt anymore, but with respect growing deeper by the minute. Something about this night was changing how everyone saw the world. As the storm stretched on, the crew realized the danger was not fully gone. Fuel levels dropped faster than planned. Systems overheated from earlier strain. The yacht needed careful handling to last through the night. Lena noticed a pattern in the power readings. She stepped forward again and pointed at a screen, suggesting small adjustments to balance load between systems. Engineers followed her words slowly at first, then faster as the readings improved. The yacht responded like a living thing, finally understood. Below deck, water had seeped into a lower section earlier. Pumps worked constantly to keep it controlled. Lena asked to see the layout. Someone handed her a tablet with internal maps. She studied it quickly, tracing paths with her finger. She suggested redirecting pumping order to protect the weakest section first. The idea surprised the crew, but when they followed it, the water level dropped faster. Quiet amazement spread through the room like warmth in cold air. The captain finally asked where she learned all this. Lena answered simply that she liked solving problems. She watched systems and patterns the way others watched movies. She did not boast or smile proudly. Her focus stayed on the task. The storm outside felt endless, but inside the control room a steady rhythm formed. Commands were clear, movement smooth. Trust now flowed without question. The crew worked as one unit, guided by calm understanding. Hours passed slowly. The storm tested their patience and strength. Fatigue showed on every face. Lena noticed it too. She reminded the captain to rotate duties to keep minds sharp. She suggested short breathing breaks when pressure rose, small things that kept mistakes away. No one argued. They followed her lead naturally. The yacht held its course like a quiet promise against the roaring sea. At last the storm began to weaken. Waves lowered, wind softened, the sky slowly lightened though clouds still hung heavy. The yacht emerged bruised but safe. Engines hummed at steady levels. Alarms stayed silent. The crew looked around at one another in disbelief. They were still standing, still afloat. The impossible night had not taken them, and all of them knew the reason. Paul stepped into the control room then. He had stayed back during the worst moments, trusting his crew. He saw their faces now filled with something close to awe. When he learned what happened, his gaze moved to Lena. She stood quietly near the wall again. Paul thanked her with sincere words, not as a billionaire but as a grateful man. Lena nodded politely, unaware that this moment would change her life far beyond this yacht. As the sea finally calmed, the crew gathered themselves. Whispers followed Lena wherever she moved. Respect replaced surprise. Questions waited to be asked. Futures quietly shifted. The storm had revealed more than skill, it revealed potential, and as the yacht sailed forward under a clearing sky, everyone aboard felt that this journey was only beginning. Morning light slowly spread across the quiet sea. Soft colors replaced the dark anger of the night. The yacht moved smoothly now as if nothing had happened. Crew members walked with tired bodies but clear minds. They spoke in low voices, sharing looks of relief. Lena sat near a window watching the horizon. The storm felt distant, yet its memory stayed close. She replayed moments in her mind, learning from every choice made. This calm after danger felt almost unreal. The captain gathered the crew for a brief meeting. His voice carried gratitude and pride. He spoke about teamwork and trust. Then his eyes turned toward Lena. The room grew quiet again. He thanked her openly for saving the yacht. His words were steady and honest. The crew followed with nods and soft applause. Lena felt her face warm but stayed composed. She did not seek praise. She simply accepted that the moment had meaning. Paul asked Lena to join him for breakfast in the main lounge. The room was bright and calm. Sunlight reflected off polished wood and glass. He asked about her interests and thoughts. Lena spoke simply about how systems talk to each other through numbers and movement. She explained how balance mattered more than force. Paul listened carefully, realizing her mind worked in rare ways, not rushed by ego or fear, but guided by quiet logic. As the yacht continued its journey, Paul made a decision that surprised even himself. He invited Lena to stay aboard longer as a guest and learner, offering access to the yacht systems and engineers. Lena hesitated, but curiosity sparked inside her. She agreed with calm excitement. The crew welcomed her without question. She was no longer just a guest. She was part of the vessel, part of the journey, part of something new. Days passed with steady seas and clear skies. Lena spent time learning from engineers and sharing ideas freely. Small improvements were made everywhere. Energy flow smoother, routines more efficient, morale lifted. The crew noticed how small changes created big effects. Lena noticed how people changed too. Fear turned into confidence when understanding grew. She learned that knowledge did more than fix machines, it connected people. One afternoon, a distant vessel sent a distress signal, its engine failing far from help. The captain looked toward Lena without speaking. She studied the signal data and suggested a safe approach. The yacht changed course smoothly. They reached the vessel and assisted calmly. Lives were helped without panic. The crew watched again as her calm thinking guided action. Word began spreading quietly beyond the yacht. Something special was happening. That night Lena stood on deck under a wide sky filled with stars. The sea was calm and endless. She thought about how storms revealed truth, how fear showed weakness but also growth. She did not think of herself as special. She thought of learning as a path without end. Behind her the yacht moved forward steady and strong. Ahead of her waited challenges unseen, and for the first time Lena felt ready for all of them. The yacht moved into a new stretch of open water where trade routes crossed and signals filled the air. Radios carried voices from faraway ships and ports. Lena spent more time listening and learning how information traveled across distance. She noticed patterns not only in machines but in people, how tension rose when voices overlapped and how calm returned when someone spoke with clarity. The crew trusted her instincts now without hesitation, and that trust shaped every decision made on board. One evening a sudden system warning appeared, showing an imbalance deep within the yacht structure, not dangerous yet but growing slowly. engineers gathered and studied the readings with concern. Lena stepped in quietly and asked for historical data. She traced changes over time and saw the cause clearly. Earlier storm stress had shifted internal weight in a subtle way. She suggested redistributing stored resources and adjusting movement timing. The solution was simple but unseen until now. As the crew followed her guidance, the readings slowly returned to normal. Relief spread again, but something deeper followed. The engineers began asking Lena questions openly, not testing her but learning from her. She answered patiently using simple words and clear examples. The gap between age and role disappeared. Knowledge became shared rather than owned, and the yacht became more than a vessel, it became a moving classroom of trust. Paul watched these changes closely. He realized this journey was shaping more than just safe travel, it was shaping people. He spoke privately with the captain about creating opportunities for Lena beyond this voyage, not forcing her into a spotlight but opening doors gently. Lena deserved choice, not pressure. The captain agreed and admired how she changed spaces simply by being present. Later that night another storm formed far away on the horizon, smaller than the last but still dangerous. Nearby ships altered course in panic. Lena studied the weather shifts and suggested a safer path between moving systems. The yacht followed her plan and passed through calm waters untouched. Other vessels noticed and followed at a distance. The sea seemed to reward understanding once again. Messages of gratitude arrived from those ships afterward. Simple words carried heavy meaning. Lena listened quietly as the crew read them aloud. She felt something new growing inside her, not pride but responsibility. She understood that knowledge carried weight and must be used carefully. Helping others without seeking reward felt natural to her, and the crew saw this and respected it deeply. As days passed, the yacht approached its destination, a place of lights and waiting opportunities. Lena spent time thinking about what came next. The journey had shown her how her mind could help others, how calm thinking could save lives. She did not fear the future, she welcomed it with steady curiosity, knowing storms would return in many forms. On the final night at sea, Lena stood once more on deck, wind gentle and stars bright. The yacht cut through the water with confidence earned through experience. Behind her the crew laughed softly, sharing stories of survival and learning. Ahead of her lay a world changed by one storm and one quiet mind, and Lena understood that this was not an ending but a turning point into something far greater. The yacht finally reached calm waters near the harbor where lights reflected softly across the sea. The crew moved with relaxed confidence, their bodies tired but their spirits clear. Lena stood quietly watching the shoreline grow closer. She felt no rush to speak. The journey had already spoken for her. The storm that once threatened everything now felt like a distant lesson carved into memory. The yacht slowed smoothly, guided by steady hands shaped by trust and shared learning. As docking preparations began, the crew worked together with ease. Small smiles passed between them. No shouting, no panic, only quiet cooperation. Lena noticed how people changed when fear was replaced by understanding. She saw engineers teaching younger crew members with patience. She saw the captain listening more than commanding. The yacht no longer felt like a machine alone but like a living group moving with purpose. Paul stood near the railing watching Lena with thoughtful eyes. He understood now that true value was not stored in money or power but in calm minds that could guide others through chaos. He thanked Lena again privately, not with grand promises but with sincere respect. He offered support for her future learning in any form she wished. Lena listened and nodded, knowing choice mattered more than gifts. News of the journey quietly spread among ports and crews, not as rumors but as lessons, stories of a calm girl who guided a yacht through danger without fear. Lena did not seek attention and avoided crowds. She preferred listening and observing. She believed every system, whether sea or human, could be understood with patience. That belief shaped her path forward. When the crew finally stepped onto land, there was no loud celebration, only shared silence and understanding. They knew what they had faced together. Lena walked among them, not ahead, not behind, equal in experience. The storm had revealed something rare, not a hero in noise but leadership in calm presence, and that lesson stayed with each person deeply. In the days that followed, Lena chose learning over comfort. She visited places where systems were built and studied. She worked alongside people who fixed and guided large structures, always watching, always learning. Her name became known quietly in circles that valued clarity and balance. She remained the same curious, steady mind shaped by storms but never ruled by them. As time moved forward, Lena often returned to the sea in thought, remembering how understanding turned danger into movement. She carried that lesson into every space she entered. Storms would come again in different forms, but she knew now that calm thinking could guide others safely through. And somewhere out on the water, a yacht moved steadily forward, carrying the echo of one quiet mind that changed everything.